Hello everyone. Order of operations is the most important concept in mathematics. Before you can do anything else in mathematics, I would like to emphasize that you will need to master this concept. So what is order of operations? In solving for an expressions involving several operations, BEDMAS must apply. So what is BEDMAS? So let's examine the terminology. Okay, first of all, B is for brackets, E is for exponent. I would like to put here also root, because root is the opposite operation of the exponent. D is for division. M is for multiplication. A is addition. And S is subtraction. Before we move on to the example, I would like everyone to pay attention to these two important points. In seeing division and multiplication right next to each other, we will have to perform the operation from left to right. Alright, so if you see addition and subtraction appear right next to each other, you will have to also obey the rule of performing it from left to right. Or I would say in order of occurrences. So let's get back to our example. So in example 4, as you see, I have 131 subtract 45 divided by 5 multiplied by 4, add that with square root of 36. So for the rule of BEDMAS, we need to start with brackets, but we don't have brackets. Then let's say we have exponent. We don't have exponent, but we have a square root of a number. So I would like you to take a look at this, right? So plus square root of 36, immediately you can take the square root of 36 and write down as number 6. So the most important point here is that you have to leave 131 for now. And the very first operations that you need to take a look at is the division. But right next to that is the multiplication. So if you have division and multiplication right next to each other, then you have to perform the operation in order of occurrences. So I would like everyone to take the calculator, take 45 divided by 5, multiply by 4, it will give you 36. So write down 36. You can see that I color-coded the numbers right here. Alright, so on this line, I have 131, subtract 36 plus 6. Now I just have addition and subtraction in this case, so I have to perform the operations from left to right. So you take 131, subtract 36, add 6, the solution should be 101. Alright, so let's move on to example number 5. For example number 5, BEDMAS. Okay, so BEDMAS, that means I have to perform the operation inside this bracket first. So, but inside this bracket, I also have several operations right here. So you see that I leave the 12, I leave the negative 5 alone for now, and I add, but I highlight this in red, so I have to perform the operation of multiplication and division first in this case. So I take 9 times 6 divided by 3, I should get 18. So now inside the brackets, I left with just 12, subtract 5 plus 18. Now I just have addition and subtraction, therefore I perform the operation from left to right. Okay, So in this case, you see that when I perform the operation from left to right, 12 minus 5 is 7, plus 18 is 25. So right here, I write it as 25 squared. So this here will turn into 25. And I haven't squared that yet because I just finished what I have to do inside the brackets. And where is the number 8 coming from? Number 8 coming from 3 as the exponent of 2. So you take 2, use this operation on your calculator, and put 3, you should have the answer as 8. Okay, so now you perform the brackets, the exponent, and the next step is to raise the 25 to the exponent 2 before you can add that with the number 8. Because in this case, you have to perform the exponents first before you can perform the addition. So therefore, 25 squared turned to 625. I add 8 with 625. My answer should be 633. Alright, very good. So far, so good. Okay, so again, I want to remind everyone that we are working with order operation and we are on page 16 of the workbook. Okay, so let's move on to the next example. Our next example, you can see that we have several operations and we have the square bracket as well. So see, here is a square bracket. The reason we use a square bracket is because inside this we already have this bracket. So I can quickly do the operation below and explain it on the side. Okay, so first of all, what I will have to do is I have to perform the brackets first. Okay, so perform the brackets, that means I have to work with whatever operation inside this square brackets. I also have to perform this brackets as well. And after I finish this, I can subtract the two results. Okay, so see here, you have negative 5 raised to the exponent 2, negative 5 raised to the exponent 2. What you should key into your calculator is that the calculator should have the brackets around the negative sign. So in this case, you should have positive 25. Okay, so in doing that, I end up with this as my positive 25. And you leave the subtraction sign. And what is 3 squared? 3 squared is equal to 9. Alright, okay. And if you take the square root of 100, you should get 10. And then you take minus 6 plus 10 in this case, you should end up with positive 4, which I have written here for everyone. So 25 minus 9, which is 16. Okay, so that operation performed first inside this bracket. You will have 16, and negative with a positive will turn into a negative. So therefore, you take 16 minus 4 is equal to 12. Alright, so let's work with example number 7. Okay, example number 7 involving the absolute values. So before I continue with this, I would like everyone to pay attention to what I'm going to interpret this question for everyone. Okay, so this question written in terms of a fraction, it seems to be complex, but what we need to do is we have to think of it as this. So let me go on to this slide and I will explain to everyone how to interpret this question. Okay, so we have negative, absolute value, negative 3, subtract 7, absolute value, divided by 2 to the exponent 3, subtract negative 3, all of it squared. Okay, so for this question, is similar to what I will be written right here for you. And I want everyone to know that operations involving the bracket as well. And what we have here is 2 to the exponent 3 minus negative 2 squared, and you need to put this in the bracket. So when you write the expression like this in terms of fraction, it's similar to what you have to write it as such. You need to perform the numerators, okay, simplify the numerators, simplify the denominators, and then divide one into the other. You can do it in this case, or you can do it as what I've shown here for everyone, which is you start with the top, and then you start with the bottom. So you find the result for the top, you find the result for the bottom, and you divide one into the other, okay? Or this is called the numerator, this one the denominator. You have one single solution for the numerator, you get one single solution for the denominator, and you divide one into the other. Alright, so let's review absolute values. So in this case, you see that you have an absolute values in this case, okay? So what I do is I will turn that into a normal brackets, take away the absolute values, but I have to turn negative 10 into a positive 10. Then you see negative and positive will give it a negative value. Negative, positive will give it a negative 9. So negative times positive 10 will give you negative 10. 4 minus 9 will give you negative 5. Negative 5 divided into negative 10 will give you positive 2 as the result. Alright, okay. Example number 8. For example number 8, remember that you have to perform brackets and then exponent. So beside exponent, the root is also involved. Okay, so in this case what I have, if I have this square root extended on top of these operations, so what I need to do is you need to know that you need to perform the operations here so that you're going to have a single value inside the root, and then you can take the square root of that number. Okay, so I have 76, I subtract 27, the result is 49, so I put square root of 49, subtract 6, square root of 81 is 9, so I write down the 9, and I divide it by 3. Why is it 4 here? Because negative 2 in the bracket, all of it squared will be equal to positive 4. So be very careful now on the very next step. So you see, I still rewrite what I need to have for the division of 3 multiplied by 4. I can, you can see that I have to take square root of 49, which is turned into the 7. And then I can take 6 times 9 is negative 54. Because this basically is the multiplications here. Okay, so you can do multiplication divided by 3 times 4 all at once. You can do it from left to right. But I just want to write an extra step to show everyone that I take 6 times 9. When you have 6 and the bracket, it means that you take 6 multiplied by 9. So in this case, I have to make sure that I get this result first before I can take that away from 7. Because when I see multiplication and division, I have to perform those operations first. But multiplication, division stay right next to each other. Therefore, I have to perform the operations from left to right. So you take negative 54 divided by 3 times 4 will give you negative 72. Take 7, subtract 72 will give you negative 45 as the result. So it's a good idea that everyone should get the calculator and try to key in on this number and realize what operation to perform first. Alright? Okay. So let's go to example number 9. So I would like to throw in a little bit of algebra here to make an introduction to our next topics for this unit. So example 9 said that given certain values x equal to 5, y equal to 3, z equal to 2, and don't forget that I color-coded all of these values, and I ask you to evaluate the expressions. Okay, so for A, what I have 7x subtract 3y plus 5z. So 7x means 7 times x, 3y means 3 times y, 5z means 5 times z. So given the values as 5, 3, 2, so what you do, you basically just substitute the values in where the x is, substitute the value into where the y is, substitute the value for z into where the z is, and then turn this into like a numerical expression, and then all you have to do is just simplify this expression. So you see you have a multiplication, multiplication, multiplication. You need to perform them first before you can touch the subtraction and the addition right here. So I have 7 times 5, I have 35. Okay, so 7 times 5 will give me 35. 3 times 3 will give me negative 9. Okay, so this will give me negative 9. 5 times 2 will give me positive 10. Now you see that you just have subtraction and addition in this case. Therefore, you perform the operations from left to right. So take 35 subtract 9 plus 10. The answer on your calculator should be 36. Alright. So B is a little bit more complicated because I kind of put this expression inside the brackets and I raise that to exponent 2. So I have 9 times x subtract 5 times y. Okay, again, x equal to 5. I take 5, I substitute here for where the x is, and I want to spell it out for everyone here that 9 multiplied by 5. Okay, and y is 3, so I put 5 multiplied by 3 and squared it, and 4 multiplied by 2. So it's a good idea to write this step down to make sure that you substitute the values in first before you start performing the operations. So then, now, brackets, right? So everything inside the brackets, you do that first before you can raise that to exponent 2. But inside this bracket, I have multiplication here. 9 times 5, 9 times 3. Therefore, I need to perform this operation first before I can subtract one from the other. So 9 times 5 will give me 45. 5 times 3 will give me 15. Okay, so the next step, I just show you that I got 45 subtract 15, square that, and 4 times 2 will give me 8, and 45 subtract 15 will give me 30, and 30 squared will give me 900, and 900 subtract 8 will give me 892. Very good. Okay, so let's go over example number 10. Okay, given A equal to -3 and B equal to -7, evaluate the following expressions. So the expression said that I have negative 9 subtract. So don't forget, this is the absolute values. Okay, the absolute values. So I will substitute A as negative 3, but A squared, and A is equal to negative 3. That means I have to square the entire negative 3. So therefore, I put in the brackets. Okay, so first of all, the very first step, is to substitute the value into this absolute value first before we can do anything else. So don't try to do a shortcut. It may result in an error or the unexpected error. It's very easy to make a mistake right here. So what we have is I have -7. I put in -7 in the bracket square. Okay, so you see I don't touch the -9 in front of this absolute values, but I have to perform all the operation inside the absolute values before I can pull it out of the absolute value and then take that away from -9. So -3 with a bracket square should give me a +9. Okay, so subtracts stay the same in this case. So we leave that alone. -7, all of it in the bracket square, will give me +49. Okay, so now I would like everyone to perform this operation inside this absolute values. So take +9, subtract +49. I should have the answer as -40. Okay, after I found -40, I will start taking away this absolute values bracket. I take this away, take that away, substitute that with a normal bracket, and take that +40 away from -9. It means -9 subtract +40. I should have -9 subtract 40. So my final answer should be -49. Alright, so let's move on to what we're supposed to do next. So as you recall, everyone should work on the practice for Unit 1, topic number 3. So just to let everyone know that on the page where you find this thinking man right here is the page that I would like everyone to complete the exercise on your own, check solution online, or if I have a video to go over the example for you, then go ahead and listen to the video. And what I will do is I will just pick a few to work with in this case. Alright, so I probably will do 17, 18, and 19. Okay, so let's work with this three exercise that you're supposed to do. And I strongly believe that everyone can work on 16, 15, 14, and then you can check the solution on Blackboard. Okay? So for number 17, what we have in this case is I have a exponent, but I have brackets. Okay, so what you need to do is perform the operations inside the brackets first, raise that to exponent 3, and then your last operation in this expression would be the addition. So don't forget, this will be your last operation. So in here, remember that inside the BEDMAS, you also have to follow the order of operations. So I know that I have to perform this operation first. Okay, it's a very common mistake. So please pay attention to that. Okay, so this like a stand-alone operation right here. 3 to exponent 4. So you can take that to the exponent 4. So 3 to exponent 4 will give me 81. Okay, so now let's do what we need to do in the bracket. I will leave 18 minus 6 alone for now. I have 12 times 8 divided by 2. The answer from my calculator should give me 648. I'm sorry, yeah. So when you see me pause a little bit, that means I need a drink of water. Okay, so I have 18 minus 6 plus 48. Bring that to the exponent 3. Now inside this bracket, you need to perform these operations from left to right. So take 18, subtract 6, add 48. Using your calculator, the answer should be 60. Okay, so you have 60. raised to the exponent 3. So 60 raised to the exponent 3 should give me 216,000. Okay, so your last operation would be the addition now. So you can add these two numbers together, and my final answer should be 216,081. Okay, very good. Alright, so I have to remind myself of the times that I can spend for this video. So I have 5 minutes left. So let's work with example number 18, or I mean question number 18. So in this case again, I will have to make sure that I substitute these values into the expression first. Minus 10 subtract absolute values of a squared, and a is negative 5 squared. Subtract negative 9 squared. Close the absolute values. So I should have negative 10. Subtract that. Negative 5 squared should give me 25. Subtract negative 9 squared should give me positive 81. Okay, so I would write this as positive 81. I just want to make sure I write step by step for everyone. So now I should have absolute values of 25 subtract 81. Okay, so negative 9 subtract absolute values of 25 subtract 81 will give me negative 56. So now you know the next step should be taking away the absolute values and turn this into a positive 56. So minus 10 subtract positive 56. Okay, so if you use your calculator, take negative 10 subtract positive 56, I should have negative 66 as the answer. Okay, I still have 3 minutes left. Hopefully I can complete example number 19 or question number 19. I am sure I will be able to achieve that. Okay, so now we write 2 times 6, because x is given as 6, minus 3 times 7, because y is given as 7, plus 2 times 3, because z is given as 3, subtract 9. Okay, so inside this bracket, I must perform those two operations first. So I should have 12 subtract 21, close the bracket square, plus 3 times 2 is 6, subtract 9. So the next step is to find out what this two number is equal to. Okay, so this should be equal to 12 minus 21 will give me negative 9. Write negative 9 in the bracket square, and I add that with 6 minus 9. So minus 9, all of it square should give me positive 81. Add 6 minus 9. Perform this operation from left to right. My final answer should be 78. Alright, I'm right on. Okay, so make sure that remember BEDMAS is the most important concepts in mathematics. Thank you.